chatting with you and meeting all of you today. I have a lot of great qualities, a strong memory, not one of them. So before we get started, I just want to make clear, it's going to sound like I'm bagging on AI. I am not. It's an incredible tool. It makes you more efficient. It removes a lot of friction from our lives. But AI is not a replacement for our humanity, not for our words, not for our human thought, and certainly not for your personal brand. Who do you trust more, yourself or a machine? Please God, stop saying machine. You, always you. So, without further ado, we're here to talk about how to use AI and organize it into a playbook to help you accelerate while everybody is going middle to end of the pack by using AI and falling off the map. So we know this, right? AI has made content faster. It's made it cheaper. It's made it cleaner. But has it made it better? Anybody think AI content is a lot better than what you were reading beforehand? Show of hands, who actively reads LinkedIn and cannot not fall asleep? Because it's all the same. We're swimming in a sea of sameness, and that is boring. Each of you has something, more than one thing, in you that makes you unique and interesting. They were talking earlier about a conversation. What do you do? Oh, I just do marketers. Cool, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You have told me that you are boring. So let's tell people that we're interesting, and let's tell them how we're interesting. The market is flooded with content that is technically fine right now. But fine doesn't grow your brand, doesn't make you money, and it doesn't elevate you in your community. So right now, consumers and reporters are starving for differentiated content. They are sick of sameness. They want unique. They want to meet the mom who survived breast cancer and threw an event and looks like $1 million and is, one of C2's top producers. Congratulations, that's incredible. They want people who are different. So what they're asking for is a point of view and a personality. The sameness is exhausting. Oops. Yeah. If you scroll LinkedIn and fall asleep like I do, it's because the hooks are all the same. The cadence is all the same. The top 10 leadership moments I've learned from fill-in-the-blank leadership pop culture moment, watch on Monday. You'll see 40 of them. They all came from chat. They have emojis, M-dashes, boring content. They talk about thanking my team. None of them are tagged. And guess what? All of the social platforms are losing money for it. So what does that mean? They're changing their algorithm to bury those things. So personality and flawed humanity has even become a scarce asset. So the pod people era is what we're in. You win by starting to show your humanity. If we're talking football, Marshawn Lynch is the king of showing his own humanity, right? His last couple seasons with the NFL, he started showing up not as a guy who plays football, that's pretty boring, not as a guy who plays football for a specific team, that's more interesting, but as himself. He was eating Skittles on the sideline. He would do press conferences. Why are you here today? I'm just here so I don't get fined. He started saying what he thought. His last couple seasons with the NFL, he had 200% more coverage. Not because he was playing great, he was. Not because he was winning every game, he won some. But because he was being a person with a point of view, and maybe it was like, oh, this guy, I'm gonna get clicks from him, I'm gonna be able to get more stories out of him. This is something that I can sell because people want to read about people. So then you go to his retirement, where he really stepped on the gas and started being himself. He has his jerseys, he has his background, he has his past in fitness. Then he just started speaking as himself about why he liked Skittles. He started doing his brand deals, right? And his media coverage then went up close to 400% in retirement, where NFL was mentioned 1 out of 3 times. It's pretty impressive, right? And it's just by being himself, loudly, unapologetically. So if you blend in, you're gonna disappear and go away. Oops, too steady to hit. So welcome, yeah, people are bored. They are trying, this isn't my opinion, right? These platforms are starting to pivot and bury this content. So engagement session time on social media is starting to drop because of what people are naming AI slop. Boring, copy-pasted, this is happening, I work at this company, I don't know, give me something I can copy-paste in there. And you post it, and you can, But LinkedIn is starting to bury it because people are dropping off, they're getting sick of it. And you'll see, the next time you open LinkedIn, you'll see people say, I'd like to thank my team for all the great work we do together, and no one is tagged. It's because AI wrote it, and you'll see they have 4 likes on the message, right? And their content's getting buried, their profile is getting buried. They're doing all this extra work, but for nothing. AI isn't that fast. So you'll find content that lacks, right? Now, it's your time to stop asking, what if people don't want to work with me because I blah, blah, blah? And start asking, what if people work with me because they see themselves in me, right? We're all part of, the average person is part of 15 different communities, right? Your kid's school, your neighborhood, you're naming them already in your head. That's part of who you are, it's part of your humanity. But I'd like to welcome you to the AI LinkedIn Post Hall of Shame. Usernames have been redacted for their own safety. And there's one that I'd like to point out that was particularly troubling to me. This person was posting about a layoff, and they are a communicator and couldn't even be bothered to write a LinkedIn post about how they're looking for a new job. They got 3 likes on this, and it was because LinkedIn buried it. It was 100% written by AI. How do I know? Because there's a handy dandy little tool. If you ever feel like someone's messing with you, it's called Pangram. That didn't translate very well. Pangram. Totally free. Copy paste something in there and see if it's AI generated content. It'll tell you how much of it is human. It'll tell you how much of it is AI. The difference is any percent AI, you have to edit at least 60 to 70% of the words. Make it sound like you, take away the choppy sentences, make it flow. Hillary Duff, her content is zooming up on Instagram because she doesn't use any punctuation. Fun fact, she shared that, her team shared that in like a stories update, and it's like, that's helpful. So, AI slap, no fun. So the opposite of AI slap isn't perfection, it's humanity. It's being a flawed person who is perfect just the way they are. So, since it's game day, I'm gonna translate this into football, and I'd like to personally thank chat for helping me, because I like the Lions, but football in general, I needed some help. So fact check did a little too. You'll find that content that lacks personalization, right? You gotta write like you talk. You want specificity. If you're gonna say you wanna thank your team, name your team. And if you can't say why it matters, or answer the question, so what, when someone looks at it, then don't post it, because now you're just posting it to post it. Or you're telling a story to a reporter just to talk to them. Don't waste their time, it's okay. So, Richard Sherman, he shows us that opinion beats polish 1,000 times. Why? Because he has one. He was worried about concussions, so he talked a lot about it. And people learned that he's pretty smart. He gets hit in the head a lot. So he's learned how to navigate, how to recover, how to train his body, how to say, ooh, I gotta talk to somebody right now, I'm a little worried. Peyton Manning, when I worked at Sports Illustrated, I staffed him for a whole week. He's a great guy. He's a really talented professional football player. He's also a quarterback, so he's incredibly cerebral. He lives upstairs 90% of his day. He knows that he can't say clever, quippy quotes. So what does he do? He breaks it down. That's why we love watching him comment on games. Not because he was one of the greatest to play, but because he's like, oh yeah, this is why they're doing that. It's important to know. He's breaking it down. He's being direct. He's not giving his opinion. Oh, I like watching him. Yeah, he's super fun. No, he's sharing an opinion. He's educating you, and you feel like you're learning as you're watching the game, or at least I do. Marshawn Lynch, he is unapologetically who he is. He teaches us that personality beats perfection. Don't let great get in the way of good. He doesn't let ego get in the way of who he is. And lastly, Sir Megatron Calvin Johnson shows us that trust beats tricks every day. He practices like he plays like he practices. His teams know they can trust him. They know that if he says he's gonna work on something he screwed up on Sunday, you know he's gonna do it again. These all translate to your business and being authentically who you are. So part of showing your humanity is knowing who your team is, right? So again, did a little search, found out and did some work, right? C2 is a gentle giant in the mortgage industry. It has earned trust through people like you doing your jobs authentically, expertly, and with care, right? It's a confusing industry that is built on real experience with real people like you every day in your community, helping people, asking questions, and listening to their answers. If you're a football person, you're the Green Bay Packers. You replace Hall of Fame quarterbacks with another Hall of Fame quarterback. You do great work. You don't get involved in the fray. You play the game, you play it well, not the political game, the actual game you're playing. You play it well, and you do things that matter to you, right? If you're not a football person, you're more of a literature person, you're Atticus Finch. You're the brilliant lawyer who moves through life playing chess carefully and thoughtfully, not just to do it. You also need to know who your team isn't, because it keeps you from chasing the wrong plays. So get ready for some fun. C2 is not the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys are not a hype-driven chaos marketing machine stuck in constant public legal disputes. No unhinged commentary here. If you're not a football person, you're not a gremlin after midnight binging on Oreos while trying on mom's makeup. It's okay. But what does that look like for a person? Allow me to reintroduce myself. Told you I'm not a football person, I'm a pop culture person, and that's who I am, that's who I show up as every day. I know that I'm weird. I like it. I like being different. I don't want to be like everyone else. Cyndi Lauper did a beautiful documentary in the early 2000s where she talked about, I don't want my life to be like everyone else's, so I am choosing to not live like everyone else. If I want to dye the front part of my hair pink and the back part of it black, I'm going to do that for a week. And when I get bored of it, I don't know, maybe I'll pierce my nose. She just does what gives her joy and expresses herself because she's an artist, right? Jane Hawley, love her, been watching her since I was 6. CBS Sunday Morning, she's great. She's known for being direct. She doesn't sit down with just anyone and say, so how you been? She gets into it. She gets into the news because you want to know. You know, she did an interview with Oprah 2 weeks ago, and they were walking through a vineyard, yeah, but they were asking very real questions. Oprah, GLP-1s, you went off them, you went on them, what's going on? You know, she doesn't play around, she doesn't pull punches, and people appreciate that. Why? Because she's not wasting their time. These are all things that I value about how I move through life. This is who I am. I am unapologetic. I'm a mom, so you know what? If one of my kids runs through the screen while we're on a Zoom naked, sorry, but not sorry. I'm not gonna broom my kid out of the room. That's terrible. I don't want that for you, I don't want that for me. And I live with humor. I use humor as often as I possibly can because it eases the tension. It helps people draw them in. It helps tell a story. Sometimes the best way to tell a story is a joke. And Molly Shannon is the funniest woman on the planet. I also know who I'm not. These were all confirmed by my husband, by the way, especially this one. We'll get to that in a minute. I am not a person who lives to be boring. Boring doesn't get you there, it doesn't get you here, it doesn't get you anywhere interesting that I want to see. I'm not filtered. The Kardashians are beautiful people. But I would be in the loony bin if I had to worry about every edge of my body and face and voice and it has to be picture perfect all the time. No, that's not life. That's not who I am. I want to be real with people so they can be real with me. I don't want to waste any of our time, right? I'm not obedient. Just ask my husband. I have opinions. I have ideas. I'm not just going to listen and nod. And I did marry someone who is not going to listen and nod. Please challenge me. I want to have an interesting day, right? And I'm not generic. I don't want to be an almond mom. I don't want to be any kind of trend. I enjoy fitness. I enjoy eating healthy. But I'm not trying to blend into any of those groups. I just want to be who I am and live my life in a way that makes me feel good. So, knowing who you are and knowing who you aren't is how you develop and protect a personal brand. So, let's get into it. If you're here today, there's a chance that you already are, or you aspire to be, a franchise player, right? Who doesn't want to be like Joe Cool? He wears cool outfits, he plays great football, good game. So let's find that brand, right? Your brand is not your bio. We can talk about that too. It is not your color palette. Let's talk about that too. It's what you lived. It's what you noticed. It's what people thank you for. When you drive home from the airport or from here today, I really want you to think about, what are the things people thank me for? What did I do? Was I nice to them? That seems like baseline to me. Was I quick? Was I helpful? Did I give them something they didn't ask for that they actually needed because I was listening? Those are all things that are attributes to your brand, right? They are also what you're passionate about. I'm passionate about being a mom. I think it's fun. And I think people who aren't having fun are wasting their time. What a waste of life. Have fun with what you're doing. Have fun being a mortgage broker. Have fun being a PR agency owner. Have fun doing what you love, or you're just gonna be bored. So, enough about me. Now it's time for you. I have prizes, and I do have a little homework for y'all. Did I mention prizes?
Yes.
So I want you right now to write down 2 to 3 words that you would describe as who you are when you are your most authentic self. Who are you when you're talking to your significant other, your best friend, your family, my sister, right? How do you talk in those moments? Take a couple minutes, write it down. And because I'm a mom and I lean into that, one thing I try not to do during work travel is to buy my kids things at the airport. But I always bring something back, right? So would anyone like to share or volunteer 1 or 2 of the things for a prize for your child?
Creative.
Creative. Okay, how many people identify with creative and how you approach your day? Okay, I want you to write that down, and I want you all to take a picture of this slide really quickly because there will be homework. My husband would be so proud as a teacher. Okay, for my creative friend, I have a coloring book called My Mom Works in Mortgage, explaining what y'all do for a living, and it was actually a recent creative outlet for me. I was kind of stressed about life, and I made a little coloring book to explain this weird and wonderful job that y'all have. Next, this is your real voice. This is who you really are in those moments. You're a creative person. I think that there might be another side of you. Who do you pretend to be? I want you to write down 2 or 3, or some words that maybe aren't on there. What are some things that you force yourself to sound like, knowing that that's not you? Or what are some things that where you're like, oh, when you look at this, I feel like it's not polished enough. What are you trying to sand off about what you're trying to say? All right, this is a slightly bigger, tougher one. This is maybe not for kids, this next prize. So do take a picture when you're done writing down your words, because there is a homework component of this too. And when you're ready, who's able to share maybe something that you try not to be? Yeah?
You're saying something on here that we see in ourselves when we're posting on?
Identify, so when you show up online or professionally,
Yeah.
what do you make yourself do that isn't you?
That's nicer than ours.
Yeah, okay. I think that's something that a lot of us fall into from Grit PR. Now you're a Detroit fan. I think that's called masking, right? And being nice matters, right? Being kind matters. But sometimes when we're nice, we're dancing around an issue, and we can just be direct and say, listen, you gotta get your credit together, man. You know, you can't have a good month and then just go nuts on credit card applications. Like, what happened, you know? And it's tough love, but every time I've been given tough love, it stings for a minute, but I get better, I get stronger, I get smarter, right? My trainer tells me to pick up a heavier weight. I'm swearing at her, but, you know, it does help me get stronger in the end. But the important thing for you to know is that's masking, and that's limiting your growth, it's limiting your potential, and it's limiting your ability to do more loans, right? So the magic in this is to find the tension, right? I want you to find the gap between who you are and how you show up at home, at work, at play. Where do you worry? What do you worry people will think if you showed up fully? Are you worried you would hurt their feelings if you were a little more direct? Are you worried they wouldn't call you? Who's willing to share? This one's a big one, so I get it. There's a good prize if you have a kid. Yeah.
I think confrontation.
You're worried people will think you're confrontational?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, excuse my language, but a lot of times women like me, I worry people will think I'm a bitch when I'm just being honest with them. And I think it's a lot meaner to not be honest with somebody. So thank you for sharing. That's like a big share, so thanks. and now your child is a Jared Goff fan. Get ready. But the point is, the voice lives in the tension between your truth and your fear. So stop pretending to be who you are and actually start being who you are everywhere you go. It's not, the fear that you're feeling isn't a stop sign. It's your nervous system telling you you're trying something new and it feels scary. It feels like a threat. What it really is you're getting close to identifying your lane, right? Once you identify your lane, you can claim your voice and truly start living who you are and finding people who might want to see themselves in you. So you need one lane to live authentically, and this is one of my favorite stories. Once people hear your story and understand it deeply, they can't help but remember it for you. So we all met Alan Baydoun earlier today, right? He's an incredible guy, very good at his job. He didn't used to be good at his job, right? He also has monster football player kids. I mean, he breeds just incredible athletes who get after life, they work hard, they play hard, they stay focused, and he lives that authentically. So you know what? I've seen him talk to his team as though they're on the football field. It's just the world he lives in. That's how he is. You feel like you're always being mentored by him. My husband and I refer to him as parent Yoda, because the pearls that man just drops out of his pockets as he walks. I'm always getting wisdom from him, and that helps. And more recently, I met a loan officer who was recently diagnosed to be on the spectrum. And she was really stressed out about this and telling me, I don't know, what if people know? I'm just embarrassed. And I was like, oh my gosh, do you understand what a superpower it would be if, when you're ready, shared with people that you are neurodivergent, you're autistic, whatever label you feel. Because then people who have who live life with that same ability are able to see themselves in you. And so I know if I'm talking to a neurodivergent person, they're a little more direct with me, right? And maybe that's what I need. Or if I'm talking to an ADHD person, can we talk about the loan in the park? Because I don't want to stand all day. You know, you're giving them lots of opportunities to connect with you. And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, do you? You know, just a friend. And she eventually did refine her bio just on Instagram, right? And refined her LinkedIn and just said that this is where she's working, the space she's in. She did that 4 months ago last year. She had her best 4 months in her career after she said who she was and let people see themselves in her. Her business grew, her experience grew, and her opportunity grew just by being honest about who she was, because people could find her, right? So here's my point. What do you want to be known for helping? How do you want to help people? How do you want to be seen in a room? I like when people see me as a direct, rebellious person who helps brands get out of their own way. That's my thing. If you want a person who's going to say, I'll fire that press release into the abyss and no one will read it, that's fine too. Just don't call me. So when you put it all together and you say who you are, media start calling you for ideas, for quotes from stories. They want to talk to people. They're sick of talking to walls and bots and boring ass conversations. They don't want to do it. So be yourself. So here's my challenge for you guys. I want you to channel your inner Daddy Dan. I want you to pull out the readers get out your clip book, and I want you to pick a lane for the next 30 days. And I don't mean for work, and I don't mean for play, and I don't mean with your kids, and I don't mean with your friends. I mean bring that person everywhere. If you identify as feral, go be feral. Go be the feral mortgage loan officer. How fun. If you identify as a very serious, practical, financial-minded person who helps people build wealth, go do that. Go do that for the next 30 days, every day, every conversation. Not just in social media, not just in your email, not just with your conversations, everywhere. And here's the homework part of the assignment. Sometime today, I want you to take those pictures, text both of them to 2 or 3 people who you really trust, and ask them to answer it for you. You're gonna get some feedback as to whether or not what you wrote down earlier is aspirational or reality. And in between the two, you need to figure out, is that who you wanna be, or is that who you are? Or do you like who you are? Do you like the answers you're getting from your friends? Because that might be the better path for you. And I want you to spend 5 good days, maybe 7, marinating in this feedback before you pick that lane and live those 30 days consistently. But I really think when you do, you're gonna unlock your superpower and you're gonna find your voice, and suddenly you're gonna be wanting to email me and tell me everything. I wanna hear everything. I am part of the infrastructure C2 provides y'all. I'm not gonna give you a bill. I just wanna get you in the news every day, all the time. So tell me if you're seeing trends. Tell me what people are responding to. And tell me what you need, because you have a voice and it matters, and C2 is the best way to get it out there.